Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us. We have a lot to talk about today, and we can't wait to share it with you. Let's get started by taking a quick look at the last 12 months. Last year, we introduced new ways to work faster with easier communication and next-level visibility, with features like the ServiceM8 desktop app for PC and Mac, the job action bar, scan and pay, the queue board, smart job lists, and more. If you haven't yet, take the time to watch our 2021 launch, as there's heaps of opportunities to improve your efficiency. Earlier this year, we also released updates to ServiceM8 Desktop, adding support for single sign-on, two-step authentication, and ServiceM8 Phone. So, what do we have to talk about today? Our goal for this launch was simple: to make managing your jobs, staff, and customers easier than ever. We focused on streamlining and automating the features you use and depend on the most. Things like capturing client and job details, scheduling jobs to your team, communicating with clients, documenting jobs, quoting and invoicing. Core functionality that provides huge value all day, every day. We've analyzed thousands of your suggestions, ranging from high-level concepts down to minute details. We've sought your feedback in all new ways, and we've worked directly with many of you to deeply understand your daily ServiceM8 experience. So, let's get into it. On behalf of the ServiceM8 team, I'm excited to introduce you to ServiceM8 11. ServiceM8 11 is all about making ServiceM8 easier and more efficient to use. It's about improving some of our most powerful features so you can get the most out of ServiceM8. And it's about new ways to streamline and automate your most frequent everyday tasks. So, to start, we're going to power through lots of refinements we've made to make your day-to-day a bit easier. Ready? Let's go. First, we made it easier to get into ServiceM8 with Google Single Sign-On support. So if your business uses Google Workspace, along with Apple, Xero, and QuickBooks Online, you can now log in with Google, saving you from needing to use a password. In the dispatch board, we've made some useful features that you might have missed more obvious, like Global Search, which lets you search anything in your account, Mention, which notifies staff about a specific job, and we've made it more obvious when and where you can open the job card, which may sound crazy, but we found some people weren't aware you can open jobs from the booking window, job lists, or the invoicing page. Then we addressed a range of small things that were making your day a bit harder. Like when you're on a large screen, it can be hard to tell which staff member you're scheduling to. The row now highlights. Or when you have a really small screen, the job card wasn't as big as it could be. We made it bigger by default. We've hidden the service button when it's not in use on the job card to give you more space for the job description. And we fixed an issue where the photo viewer would select when clicking through lots of photos, which from working with customers turned out to be really common. If you work a lot on the online dashboard, you can end up dragging windows all over the place. You drag them left, drag them right, make them bigger, in all kinds of workflows. So we've made it easier to grab the corners and sides of a window. And we fixed an issue where it would get stuck to your mouse when you were dragging the window off screen. If you're a window dragger, you've probably just gained a 30% efficiency. Next, We've made some changes to the job card to help when you're working on a larger quote or invoice. An expand button, giving you much more space to work with your materials. And when the job card is expanded, item names automatically show all text, so you don't have to click into the field to see all the details. To help transfer information from documents to your job, we're introducing a new side-by-side mode. Click this, and it will automatically expand both the job card and the document to be full screen and side-by-side, making it super easy to transfer or review information between your job card and the document. In the Home tab, the activity feed has lots of information in it, some that is visible to everyone and some that is only visible to the business owner or specific roles in the business. But this wasn't clear, and it caused people to worry about staff seeing potentially sensitive posts. So now, if you hover over an activity feed post that isn't visible to everyone, it'll tell you who can see it. Last year, we introduced a new jobs view to the app, a powerful mission control to see your schedule, review jobs needing attention, and access your job list. But for many of you, the list you needed the most is the staff list, all the way at the bottom. And scrolling to this every time is slowing you down. So we've updated this. You can now adjust the order. Simply tap Edit and drag to change the order of your staff, queues, and job lists to what you use most. We've also updated the app sync experience with updates to the schedule and jobs appearing even faster. So if I schedule this job here on the dispatch board, boom, it appears. Or if I drag this one, bam, it updates. We've also improved the experience of communicating with clients in the app and online. A really minor one, for example, is that when you enter a new email address in the app, the autocorrect was causing hassle and not helping. So we disabled it. Online, we've improved email autocomplete. You can now CC the job or billing contact. We've improved the emails it has available to choose from, and we've improved the dropdown. When you haven't received a reply to an email, it's handy to be able to resend it while proving that you sent the original email. We've come up with a revolutionary concept to solve this. We're calling it email forwarding. So now you can forward emails that you've sent or received from the diary. We've improved the SMS experience online for jobs where you need to message multiple people at once, like tenants on a work order. So, for example, if you wanted to message all the tenants a booking link, you can now paste in the numbers and send multiple messages at once, instead of separately sending each one. And we've improved the SMS contact dropdown. The message contacts are now broken down into contact types to separate staff from job contacts. When it comes to managing phone calls from clients, we're introducing a simple but powerful improvement to ServiceM8 Phone, an external secondary call group. Before, for those times you can't take a call, you could only set ServiceM8 Phone to send the call to either voicemail or ring through to staff. Now, if you use a virtual assistant or call answering service, you can enter their external number. If you can't take the call, it will ring through to the external number, giving you a better chance to serve customers and win new business coming in over the phone. And you still get all the benefits of ServiceM8 Phone. The call will still be saved against the job with a recording, transcript, and summary. And while we're on it, we're happy to announce that ServiceM8 Phone is now available for South Africa. I know many of you over there have been hanging out for this. You can now get started with a free trial of ServiceM8 Phone from the add-on store. Switching from these manual forms of customer service, let's look at some refinements we've made to unlock automations for you. Increasing your Google reviews can have a significant impact on how much business you get online. With the customer feedback add-on, we've heard that the current way it requests Google reviews isn't driving enough. So, we've changed how we promote Google when you have a Google review link set. Now, instead of capturing ServiceM8 feedback first and then pushing the customer to leave another review on Google, it takes the customer straight to leaving a Google review. The automation add-on is a really powerful tool for automating key email and SMS communication to your customers, like booking reminders, quote follow-ups, and feedback requests. The problem is that for some of your clients, the automations don't suit. So many of you will end up turning off the entire automation because it's not appropriate for a small number of clients. Now, you're able to disable a specific automation for specific clients. Just click here on an automation that's scheduled to send and select Turn Off for this client. If things change, you can re-enable it for that client from the same menu. In addition to this, we've made a small improvement to the feedback automation. Currently, it automatically asks for feedback after every job. But if you do lots of work for a client frequently, you don't want to be asking for feedback every day or week. So now it won't ask for 30 days after receiving feedback from a customer. Okay, so over 20 improvements, and there are heaps more that we don't have time to cover. And that was just the appetizer. And now we're on to the main course, and maybe some dessert after. We got 5 major areas of improvement to share with you today: client management, scheduling, time tracking, job history, and quoting and invoicing. Let us begin. Being able to systematically capture client contact details, then email, text, or even call them directly from the job card is one of the most valuable things about ServiceMate. We wanted to make managing your clients and job contacts easier, like something you barely have to think about. And we've solved some really popular requests in this space. First is a simple change to the app to help you capture client info effortlessly as you use ServiceMate. If you're on site with a client and need to email them the invoice, it's only once you start sending the email that you realize you don't have an email stored for them. So you type it in and you send the email. But then the email isn't stored against the contact for the next time you need it. So now you can set the email of a contact while sending the email, saving you from needing to manually find and add it again later. We've also added the same functionality to the process of sending a text message. You can add their mobile number against their contact while in the process of sending. Next, a request we get a lot for the job card is to add a tick box to duplicate the job contact details over to the billing contact. So now you still can't do that. ServiceMate's simplicity is one of the things you love about it, and we work really hard to keep the number of buttons, options, and menus to a bare minimum to keep ServiceMate fast and easy to use. But this makes a simple request like being able to duplicate contact information quite a complex problem to solve. Anyway, we think we've cracked it. For jobs where you only have one contact, we're introducing the ability to have one contact. Now, when you create a job, it starts with only a job contact. So you can add their details like normal. And they'll receive all communication that'll go to a job or billing contact. If you need more than one contact, you can just mouse over the contacts area and click billing contact. And you can add them as you usually would. Smooth, right? Let's see that again in slow-mo. We've really outdone ourselves here. Right. Next up is another common scenario where you might be working in a job card, then need to take a look at their client card. Before, you'd have to search and find them, or you might even be switching over to the Clients tab. Wasn't easy or fast. Now you can just click here to open the client card and add a client note, badge, correct the name, or whatever you need to do. And you can still change the client on the job if you need to by clicking this action and selecting Change Customer. Now, if you receive work orders from real estate or letting agents, you'll have a lot of jobs that have a property manager. Most of the time, you don't need to contact them, but when you do, it'd be handy to know who's in charge of the work order to contact about issues, approvals, or access. So, you can now add a property manager contact to a job. To add one, you simply hover, click Property Manager, and enter their details, the same way we added the billing contact earlier. They will then be available to email, text, and call from the app and online. Further, if you do work for real estate agents, you'll likely deal with a number of property managers, which can change from job to job. You can save each of their contact details on the client card, but currently there's no easy way to select one for a specific job. Well, now, when you add a new contact, a drop-down appears, offering contacts from the client card. So you can quickly select the property manager that you need to deal with on this job, and their details will populate. So it's super quick and significantly reduces the admin in managing their details. Okay, the next update is about how the contacts on the job card and the contacts on the client card interact. Currently, when you create a new job for a first-time client, ServiceMate will take the contact details you enter on the first save and save the new client with those details only. After this point, any updates you made to the contact details on the job card didn't update the client card. So, if you didn't capture all the client's details or contacts the first time around, you'd need to add them to the client card manually before you create another job for them. This system has its benefits, but also drawbacks. We wanted to make updating contacts more intuitive with less effort. Now, when you create a new client from a job, the details you enter on the first save will be stored on the client just like it was before. But if you open the job again and add a mobile number or an email address and save, these details will update the client card. If you open the job again and add a billing contact and save, this will also update the client card. And if you fix a spelling error on the contact name and save the job, that will update the client card too. Okay, but let's say it's your second job for a business client, and this time there's a different job contact. So you create the job for the business and enter the new job contact. Because it's a new person that doesn't match the original job contact, this change won't update the client card. Only the first person you add to a job for each contact type, job, billing, or property manager, will be added to the client card automatically. Additional contacts need to be added manually. So if you need the option of choosing this alternative job contact on future jobs for the client, you need to manually add them to the client card. So we open the client and we click Add Contact. When you do, you'll see suggestions of unique contacts that were used on previous jobs. So we can simply click that new contact and it will autofill the details, making it really quick to save a new contact to a client so they're available for future jobs. Couple of things to note. Changes to a job do not affect other jobs for the same client. And if you make changes to the client card, it will not update current or past jobs for that client, only future jobs. So that was a lot of detailed information, but the general idea is you don't need to know the specifics. It will just work as you expect. We're releasing many of these improvements as standard, but if you want to try the Property Manager contacts and the Save As You Go updating, you'll need to activate the Smart Contacts add-on. And that is a wrap on improvements to job and client contacts. Scheduling. ServiceMate scheduling functionality is something that you use constantly, all day, every day. It gives you clear visibility of your day, individually and as a team. You also get live staff status and locations, so you know what's going on in the field and can make smart scheduling decisions. We wanted to build on these benefits and make managing your schedule easier. First up, we've made it easier to stay aware of bookings that are outside your standard business hours. Till now, it was easy to miss particularly early or late bookings. Extending your business hours was a workaround to avoid this, but it also makes everything on the schedule smaller and has unintended side effects on other features too. Now, when you have a booking outside business hours, we'll automatically adjust the hours visible to show it, so you don't have to worry about a booking not being visible. And we've made it so you can now see your business hours on the staff schedule and calendar. We've also improved the calendar display to use all available space, making it easier to see your bookings. When you have a lot of staff members or queues, or just a small screen, these containers can end up expanding to the point of making the schedule and calendar unusable. Now, when the dispatch board doesn't have enough space to fit your queues and staff, it will automatically collapse them in. You can still access the collapsed queues and staff via this drop-down here, and you can still drag jobs onto the hidden ones. Just drag, drop, and select which queue or staff member you want to assign the job to. Staff and queues collapse from last to first, so you'll want to ensure that your most used queues and staff are not in the last positions. So now you can change their order. Edit your staff order here, and it will update how they're ordered at the top of the dispatch board and also how they're ordered on your schedule. Edit your queue order here, and it will update the queue order at the top and update the order of your queue board. These settings are safe per user, so each staff member can set an order that's efficient for them and their role. For many businesses, the process for fielding inquiries from potential customers is to first check if you're available at a date and time that suits the customer, and if so, proceed to create a new job and add their details. To help streamline this workflow, now when you select a time, you have an option to create a new job straight from the new booking window. The next update is a big improvement to the calendar on iPhone. As you'd know, the current calendar lists all days vertically. If you needed to find a specific day, you had to scroll through all the dates, and it had limited functionality. So, here is the new calendar. You view a single day at a time in this nice clean view. To change days, you can swipe left or right. To change weeks, you can swipe forward and back a week at a time, or jump to a specific date with the date picker. You can schedule jobs by tapping and holding on a free space and selecting a job. You can modify existing bookings by tapping and holding it and adjust the duration or move it. And finally, the calendar will now show free busy time from staff leave or external calendars. If you do a lot of repeat work, we have some exciting improvements to the recurring jobs and reminders add-on to make creating recurring jobs, then managing them on an ongoing basis, a whole lot easier. First of all, we improved the Recurring Jobs tab. We've added a search field so you can quickly find a specific job by searching for the client, service, job template, or recurrence pattern. And you can add a suburb column to sort and view jobs by locality. We've also updated the recurring job card. The preview pane for recurring jobs now breaks down by simply past and future. Jobs always stay in the order of their bookings, regardless of if they've been activated. You can now activate and open future jobs from the preview pane just by double-clicking on them. We've added new 15 and 45-minute options when setting a job's duration. We've updated the Recurrence Pad interface. It's faster to set the job scheduling pattern with more frequencies to choose from. You can set advanced settings by selecting Custom, and you can now access a client directly from here, making it super quick to add a client note or see their contact details. Plus, something we know a lot of you have been waiting for, you can now add multiple staff to a recurring job. Just click to add from the dropdown. Next, we have some great improvements to help you manage your recurring jobs day to day, starting with visibility. You can now easily see which jobs are recurring on the staff schedule. Hovering on the symbol tells you how often you do that recurring job. From the job card, you can easily see whether a job recurs and how often. If you need to view or change its recurring settings or cancel a future visit, you can open the recurring job straight from here. When you've got lots of recurring bookings, managing them can be difficult and time-consuming. You can see your recurring jobs in the schedule and calendar, but to do something as simple as change a staff member on a job, you need to find and open the recurring job card and edit the staff member before going back to view your schedule. We wanted to make this much simpler, so you could almost completely manage your recurring jobs without leaving the schedule. So now, to change who a recurring job is assigned to, you can just drag the job to another staff member, and you're given the option to choose whether you want to edit this booking only or this booking and all following bookings. If we select this booking and all following bookings, this will change the staff member on this job and update the recurring job settings. It works the same if you want to change the day of the booking. We can just drag it from Wednesday to Thursday. You can do this whether or not the booking is activated. So if you need to change the time of this future booking, we can still just drag it. And if we want this change to only affect this 1 week, we can select only this booking, and it won't affect any other recurring jobs. This effectively breaks that job away from the recurrence pattern, and it will not ask you again for any further changes you make to that job. And if the customer wants to skip a visit, you can also now cancel future bookings straight from the schedule. Altogether, there are some significant enhancements to make managing your recurring work much easier. Next up, we have some changes to the Job Allocations add-on. If you haven't heard of it before, this add-on lets you allocate jobs to staff in a window of time when it's okay for you to attend and do the job, like in the morning, afternoon, or just business hours. This is because in many scenarios, your clients don't need you to do the job at a fixed time, and it's more efficient for you to provide a window of time. While job allocations are great for flexibility and efficiency, one of the biggest issues with these bookings is they have lower visibility in ServiceM8. You'd have to click on each staff member to see what allocated jobs they have, in addition to fixed time bookings. And even then, you still don't have a good understanding of their capacity. Now, when you book a job to an allocation window, it will also show on the schedule, so you can maintain visibility of the booking and staff capacity. And as a shortcut, you can drag and drop the job straight to here, and it will set the job to business hours. And they automatically stack and shuffle on the schedule. So if you have a fixed time booking that comes in for 8 a.m., it will push the allocated jobs back. When you have multiple jobs allocated, you can drag to reorder and prioritize them, which then translates the order they display to staff in the app. You can change a booking from fixed time to an allocation window or vice versa, straight from the edit booking window. And if you use recurring jobs, it works the same. You can set your recurring jobs to an allocation window, and once activated, they'll show on the schedule. So if you're a recurring business and a majority of your jobs can be done anytime during business hours, allocation windows are a great alternative to fixed time bookings. Finally, you can use allocation windows in your communication with customers by using the next booking time merge field in your SMS and email templates. If some of your customers don't require fixed times, check out the Job Allocations add-on. Okay, that's a wrap on scheduling. Time tracking. Accurately tracking and charging for your time is so important, as it needs to cover one of the biggest costs in your business: labor. The thing about time is, it's relentless. Tracking it and charging for it is something you need to do well day in, day out, consistently. This year, we wanted to make tracking job time easier than ever, more automated, more systematic, and more consistent across your team. First up, we've put more time than ever into automatic time tracking. One of the biggest causes of this not working well is when staff don't have their GPS settings correct. So, we've introduced highlights that show when staff don't have their GPS settings set right, so you can work with those staff to fix it. This shows on both the staff schedule and on the dispatch map. And we've built a brand new AI-powered auto time tracking engine from the ground up. The current automated time tracking system is good most of the time, but it struggles in some scenarios, causing it to check in or clock off when it shouldn't, or do nothing when it should do something. It was constrained by rules and numbers and criteria and lacked judgment. Not anymore. The new automated time tracking engine is powered with artificial intelligence. It learns and assesses and can even wait for more information before taking action. It can handle real-world situations the old system just couldn't. For example, when you go to the gym that is next to your office before work, it won't clock you on. Or a cheeky stop to the pub on the way home from work, and it will set the clock off to when you left the office or your last job, not the pub. And when you're working on a larger job site, like a university, it won't check you out as you move around it. Occasionally though, just like us humans, the AI is going to get it wrong. So to help deal with these situations, you can now tap on the notification of an automatic time tracking action and undo it. So if it checked you out of a job, you go back to being checked in. If it clocked you off your shift, you can undo that action and go back to being clocked on. And the AI will learn from these corrections, so it will be less likely to make that same mistake again. We're also introducing clock off rollback to make timesheets and payroll easier. Now, if you forget to clock off your shift and it doesn't occur automatically, when you do clock off later, ServiceM8 will give you the option to roll your finish time back, suggesting earlier timestamps based on your movements and job activity. When you go to a supplier while on a job, ServiceM8 automatically tracks this as an offsite trip, which you can then add to your job time through the checkout wizard. But if you miss that offsite time when you're checking out, it won't get added, which is a missed billing opportunity. So now, when there are trips available, they are presented as a step of the checkout wizard. So you can choose to add them as billable time or not, as a part of your normal checkout flow. As a final measure to ensure your team is capturing all job time and not missing billing opportunities, we're introducing a shift summary for staff, an activity feed post that highlights how much of the staff member's shift is allocated to jobs. If they tap on it, they can view their shift in more detail. ServiceM8 also highlights time at locations that hasn't been allocated to a job, or a known location, like an office. And if that time was related to a job, they can tap it and allocate that missed time to a job. They can also allocate time to other things, like suppliers, fuel, food, etc., which will train the AI to make smarter decisions in the future. So you're capturing time in your business more consistently, accurately, and automatically. To make charging for this time easier, we've made some improvements to adding smart labor online, where you can apply the time to a labor rate and add it to the invoice. First, you can choose whether to include or exclude travel time when adding smart labor to the bill. We've improved the design of the duration column, making it easier to use. We've improved the defaults when adding time to make it faster. And you can now set a default labor rate per staff member, which is automatically applied to the staff member for their time. To give you better insights into your track time and other areas, we've got some great improvements to reports. From the business dashboard, you can now click on the values in the reports to see the jobs that make up that number. From here, we can see a breakdown of job time, travel time, and the number of visits for each job, allowing you to quickly find jobs that might require your attention. And it's not limited to just time reporting. Almost all the dashboard reports are clickable, with the data in the reports varying depending on what it's reporting on. So you can quickly find out what's causing our average value per job to be low this month. What jobs are causing our profit to be lower than expected? What jobs took longer to get invoiced and paid? Plus, the same drill-in support is available for other reports, so you can see the jobs that make up a specific month's revenue, all the jobs from a specific category in a given month, or quotes you didn't win this month, all allowing you to dig deeper into your business and find actionable insights. And finally, for time tracking, we've made many of the requested improvements to the automated timesheet sync add-on to make it more compatible with how you pay your staff. If you haven't heard of it, the automated timesheet sync add-on lets you automate the export of staff clock on and off times to Xero, QuickBooks Online, and MYOB as employee timesheets. First, we've introduced simple rounding. You can choose to round shift durations to the nearest 15 minutes, so you don't have to manually edit this in your accounting package later. We give you the option to include or exclude break time from staff total payable hours. We've added support for more payment frequencies, now including weekly, fortnightly, and monthly. And for Xero users, in addition to Australia, we're happy to announce automated timesheet sync support in New Zealand and UK. So if you pay staff based on timesheets, check out the automated timesheet sync add-on. And that's all for time tracking. Job history. Keeping a detailed record of every job you ever do, then being able to access this job and client history anytime in the future is a really powerful resource. The job diary is a central point for all history of a job, keeping everyone in the loop. So we're excited to make it even more powerful. First, you can now edit notes in the app. So if you make a mistake or a typo, you can tap here and edit for up to 15 minutes. A couple of years ago, we improved photo importing, making it easier to get photos taken outside of the ServiceM8 app into your job history. Today, we're making it even better. Sometimes when you're on site, focused on the job at hand or chatting with the client, you need to snap a quick photo while you have the chance. So you just take it with your regular iPhone camera. But remembering to import these into ServiceM8 is another thing. If you forget to import them into the diary, that job history is essentially lost. Now, when you check out of a job, you'll be presented with the option to import any photos that you captured outside of ServiceM8 while checked into the job, making it easier to capture and save this job history every time. In the job diary on the app, we've also made the photo viewer more powerful. Now, when you view a photo with text in it, you can interact with the text. For example, call a handwritten phone number, copy a serial number, or even quickly look up a model number online. A handy shortcut saving you from manually typing or transcribing all kinds of information. Online, you can now paste files or images straight into the job diary from your computer's clipboard, offering another quick way to get information into the diary when you need to. We've added support for HEIC images, which is the format your iPhone and iPads save photos in. If you attach these manually or receive them in an email, you'll now be able to open them in the diary. When you have a job that goes on for a long time, the diary can get pretty large, with dozens of emails, messages, notes, photos, and attachments to look through. It can be difficult to find specific information or a file. So we're introducing a new way to view and find data in the diary. Filtering. Looking for a file you attached? You can filter the diary to only see attachments. Need to get up to speed on a customer conversation? Click here and you'll see all communication to and from the customer. Want to see all bookings for a job? Filter to bookings and queues. And if you need to, you can click here and see the complete history of bookings on a job, which shows each time the booking was modified and when it's been cancelled. Finally, we have an exciting extra option in filters: edit history. Whenever you make a change to work completed, job description, and contact details, this update is stored. So if you want to access an earlier version of the job description, you can go into the diary and see what it was. And it's the same if someone accidentally removes contact information of a client. You're able to retrieve that information. So you now have a full history of significant changes made to a job card for peace of mind. And that is a wrap on the improvements to job documentation and history. Quoting and invoicing. Now, onto our final dish. Improvements to how you prepare, send, and manage your quotes and invoices. We've received a lot of great feedback for making these core business tasks faster, more automated, and more systemized. And we're excited to share some really cool solutions with you. Starting with the invoicing page. First, you can show extra columns: purchase order number, job address, job category, and due date, with due date highlighting in red when it's overdue. Plus, it remembers the column settings, so you don't need to activate them each time. We've also improved the ease of interacting with invoices. The tick boxes are bigger and easier to select. If you're actioning a single invoice, you can select the row and click the action. You don't have to tick it anymore. We've added new right-click actions to make it even quicker to approve invoices and mark invoices as sent. And you can set a default income account for new items. So when you approve invoices containing new items, you don't need to manually set their income account for every single item. They just go over. We've also added a bulk select option, and you can now search. Quickly filter to specific clients, find a job by number or purchase order number. And we've introduced two special search terms: type is overdue to filter to your overdue invoices, or type is unsent to filter to invoices you haven't sent. Combined with the new bulk select tool, you can get your invoicing admin done faster than ever. For example, say you wanted to send a payment overdue reminder to all your outstanding invoices. Type is overdue to filter to your overdue invoices again. Click select all and click email, where we find another improvement. You can now choose a different email template when sending emails in bulk. Which one today? This one. And send it off. We're also introducing a new option for formatting your quotes and invoices, with the ability to insert a line of description text between items. When you set quantity, price, and cost to 0 on a line item, these fields will automatically show as blank on your quotes and invoices, which will give you a line of text by itself. This is simple, but for more involved jobs, this can really help in adding extra information and breaking up the details to help clients understand. Something we've received a lot of requests for is the ability to change the invoice date so you can reset the due date. We always promote a workflow of invoicing on job completion, on site if possible, and if not, as soon as possible. It's better for cash flow and finalizing job admin, so you can get paid and move on. This is why invoice due dates in ServiceM8 are based on the job's completion date. But sometimes there are genuine reasons you can't invoice on the day, like if you're waiting on a supplier or a subcontractor before you can finalize the invoice. If you have 7-day payment terms and it takes a week to finalize the invoice, it'll be overdue as soon as you send it. We wanted to solve this in a way that still promotes fast invoicing, cash flow, and job completion while providing flexibility for those invoices that can't be sent immediately. So we're introducing a new invoice date field for your invoice templates. When you complete the job, the invoice date will still be set as the job completion date, the same as it currently works. But for whatever reason, you need to change the date, you can click this button online and push the invoice forward or backward to any date you need to. The due date, your accounting package, live statements, and automations will all use this new invoice date, ensuring everything is consistent and works correctly. To start using this feature, you'll need to update your invoice template with the new merge field. Our support team can help you with this, or alternately, all our default templates have this updated field. A couple of years ago, we introduced live statements as a simple, automated way to show your high-volume clients all their outstanding invoices. We've got a range of improvements to make live statements easy to use and more compatible with different businesses while providing a better experience for your clients. First, it's easier to activate live statements on customers. There's now a bulk action in the Clients tab to allow you to quickly turn it on for customers you want to send statements to. We've improved the view for scheduled and processed live statements. You can now see which clients will be sent the live statement and easily cancel them if you need to. The online statement view now shows invoices paid in the last 2 weeks instead of just 48 hours. We've introduced a new statement template field, which enables you to create an email or SMS template with a link to the client statement, so you can also manually send and follow up statements. And we've updated the rules for what makes an invoice visible on a statement. Previously, invoices would only be included on a live statement if they'd already been sent to the client separately. Now invoices will still show if it is sent, but also if the invoice has been approved. This is great if you do heaps of jobs for a recurring or contract client and they don't want to receive email invoices for every single job. Now you don't need to send them separately. You can just automate their live statement to send, and all you need to do for their invoices to show is approve them. When you have a lot of work coming through the business, it's easy for a client's debt to get away from you. And if they're not paying you, it's worth being aware of it before you consider doing more work for them. So we wanted to make clients with outstanding invoices more visible, in the right place at the right time. Now, when you create a job and select the customer, it will instantly load the client diary, so you can see any notes you've added to their client card, plus the new awaiting payment item, which shows the number and value of all invoices which haven't been paid. And if the customer has overdue invoices, they'll be highlighted separately. This is pretty simple, but it should be great at helping you notice that a customer hasn't paid you before you do more work. The final improvement is that when a customer's been sent a live statement, you can see that here, and you can view it if you need to. Okay, next is a pretty heavily requested feature, something that has probably been mentioned in the comments already, and if it hasn't, then I'm a little disappointed. Fixed price services are becoming increasingly popular, and for good reason too. Clients like the certainty of knowing the price before they go ahead. It's easier to systemize your quoting and invoicing, and it can be very profitable if you dial in your costs and efficiency. So, we've made it easier to group labor and materials into fixed price services and manage how these are presented to your clients. Introducing bundles. Let's check it out. A bundle is essentially a bundle of items and labor with a summarized name. So to create one, we give it a code and then type out a name of the bundle, which is a text you want clients to see on your quotes and invoices. Add all the parts and materials required. Add the labor you're allowing for. If you use the markup billing add-on, you can set your markup for each line item and see your markup for the bundle. Now, one big difference about bundles is that they always use the price set in your database. And if you change the price of an item or labor on a bundle, it will update the price stored in your materials. This is to ensure bundle pricing is always up to date. When your prices update from supplier price list imports or you increase your labor rates, the bundle updates with it. So, once you've created a bundle, you can add it to a job like you'd normally add materials. When you produce a quote or invoice, it won't show the materials that make up the bundle. If you need to, you can quickly see what's in the bundle by hovering over the row. A lot of the time, you'll want to make changes to the bundle for a specific quote or invoice. To do that, you can click on the price or bundle code. Here, you can make any changes you need to. Modify the labor allocated, add extra items or materials, adjust the quantities, or even modify pricing and markups. Any changes here only affect this bundle on this job. It will not affect your database, other jobs, or any other bundles in the current job. The fact that these are editable per job makes them really versatile. For example, if you need a part every second time you perform a specific service, you can put it in the bundle to help remind you to check if it's needed. If you've connected ServiceMate with your accounting package, when you send an invoice containing a bundle to your accounting software, it breaks the bundle up into its components. This ensures the correct cost and income codes of the materials are used. And if you track stock, it will correctly affect your stock usage. And finally, it's important to review if the labor you've allowed for in your bundles covers how long the job actually takes on average. Using the profit report we mentioned earlier, you can quickly find jobs that have lower profitability. Reviewing these will allow you to identify where you should modify your pricing and labor on your bundles. The last thing on bundles is pricing and availability. Going forward, this powerful new add-on will be available on the growing plan and above. But if you're already with us, we're giving the bundles add-on to all of you. All current customers on all ServiceMate plans will be able to activate bundles in the add-on store. That is a wrap on quoting and invoicing and a wrap on today's release. Let's do a quick recap of what we launched today. We made subtle refinements to make ServiceMate easier to use from one moment to the next, like Google sign-on support, the global search bar, job card expanding, side-by-side mode, job list reordering, email forwarding, autocomplete and SMS improvements. We improved some of the most powerful features, making them more compatible and helping you get more out of ServiceMate, like the external secondary call group, improvements for getting Google reviews, turning off automations by client, and improvements to reports. Then we introduced a huge range of improvements in 5 core areas of ServiceMate. Client management with set email address and mobile number, single job contact, open client from the job card, the new property manager contact switching, save as you go updates to the client card, and autofill contacts in the client card. We improved scheduling with better visibility outside business hours, improved calendar display space, collapsing staff and queue containers, queue and staff reordering, create new job on the schedule or calendar, improvements to calendar on iPhone, great updates to recurring jobs, and huge improvements to job allocations. Time tracking is easier with GPS setting highlights, new AI time tracking, undo for automatic time tracking actions, rollback suggestions for clock off time, off-site trip reminders, allocating missed time to jobs, smart labor improvements, default labor rates for staff, and improvements to the automated timesheet sync add-on. We launched great improvements to documenting jobs and the job diary with notes editing on the app, photo import suggestions on checkout, image text recognition, copy and paste support in the job diary, HEIC image support, diary filtering, booking change history, and job edit history. Then we looked at everything new in quoting and invoicing, with improvements to the invoicing page, quote and invoice description lines, the new invoice date field, and the ability to change the invoice date. Major improvements to live statements, outstanding invoices in the client diary, and of course, the bundles add-on, rounding out an absolutely huge range of improvements. All right, from everyone here, thank you so much for, what's this? A cupcake? For me? Ugh. Ugh. Oh, that's right. We have one more thing. A few years ago, we introduced ServiceMate Measure, a brand new way to capture measurements with your iPhone or iPad. This year, we're introducing a revolutionary new way to capture and store room measurements called Room Scan. Say you're at a client site and doing some work on the walls, floor, or ceiling of a room. With the job open, you select the new Room Scan job action. Then you point your camera around the room. It will quickly scan and understand the walls, floor, and objects in the space. You can then tap done and instantly have a 3D model. When you tap done again, it saves the room scan to the job diary and provides a summary of key measurements of the room: floor area, wall surface area, and wall linear length. But you can also tap on the scan to review the model in more detail. You can move around to see the layout and space. Plus, you can get the measurements of any object or wall in the room. We can see the width and height of this TV, and the total surface area, height, and width of this wall. In this example, we can see the size of this fridge, or the width of this vanity in this bathroom. What's unique is you have all measurements in the room, with some that you may not have known that you'd need, but you can get them back at any time. Okay, that really is a wrap. The ServiceMate 11 app will be available in the App Store shortly today, and we'll share links on how you can activate all the new features on your online dashboard as well. Thank you so much for joining us. From all of us here, thank you for using ServiceMate. We hope it's making a positive impact in your businesses and lives. Thanks, guys. See you later.